Krishna. Good morning, everyone. Wow, it's a wide circle today. Mentioning the concept of asana, there's a time to devote one's intention completely to Krishna. And there's a place where we sit where we don't do anything else in that place. We just dedicate our consciousness to Krishna. That's the original concept of asana, that you create a sacred space, which means there's no other thing you do there. And of course, we also try to create time where there's nothing else to do. Because the tendency of the mind is to look for something else. It's otherwise known as distraction, because it's not satisfied. It's affected by the mode of passion. And so having an opportunity to sit in some place and dedicate one's full attention to the chanting of Hare Krishna, the Maha Mantra, is vital for advancing in spiritual life. One of the problems is that someone may not dedicate enough time and may not give full concentration, and therefore without concentration. An example is if you hold a magnifying glass to a piece of paper and let the sun come through, if you hold it steady and don't move it long enough, then it will catch fire. And if you move it around, then it won't. And in a similar way with the chanting of japa, unless there's sufficient time held in one place, the concentration on the holy name, then that experience of being connected to Krishna, which is what we're looking for, will not take place. So Prabhupada gave us a way in which we can dedicate ourselves to this process of finding a time, a space, sacred time, sacred space, sacred seat, to sit and just dedicate our consciousness to the holy name. And then it's up to us to use our intelligence to stay in that space long enough in order that we can contact Krishna, meaning that he's always there, but I'm not aware of him. I can't take advantage of his presence. So this gives us the wherewithal to do that. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. We just have a few more minutes. There's a letter Prabhupada wrote to a devotee regarding the japa. And he points out that just as everyone has equal access to the sun, or the sun has equal benefit for everyone, it's just a matter of how much we're able to take advantage of the sunshine. And he said, similarly, the holy name has an equal effect on everyone. And the only delimiting factor is, he calls the 10 offenses. There's a series of attitudes and ways of interacting with the world that are mentioned as the 10 offenses in various of Prabhupada's books. It comes originally from the Padma Purana in a discussion between Narada Muni and Sanak Kumara, in which Sanak asks, what are the ways in which one can expedite one's advancement in devotional service? And then comes the verse. The 10 offenses are actually contained in one verse, but they're unpacked. And I think it's helpful. Sometimes when we say offense, it's hard to digest. But I paraphrase it when looking at the actual word, which is aparadha, which comes from, first, the word aradhanam, which means to be properly engaged in service to Krishna. In fact, that's the origin of the name Radharani, which comes from aradhanam. And you get aparadha, which means that you're disrupting your service to Krishna. When you have certain attitudes or certain ways of interacting with the world. So it's helpful to go through the 10 disruptors to japa and to look at them anew, which means not just to repeat them and not listen to them, but actually to study and see what they actually mean. And the more we can be aware of them, the more we can be in the mood of service when we're chanting. As an example, one of the disruptors is to be attached to material things. But it doesn't mean that we can't use material things or that we don't have some environment in which we have the necessity to use things. If we apply it too broadly, then people just say, well, I can't do that. But what it really means is that if you have things that you're not engaging in Krishna service, or that you don't see how they could be engaged, there are certain frivolous types of activities that are mindless or that can't be connected to Krishna. I mean, you can always connect everything philosophically, but really practically you're not using them in service. Those are not helpful. And therefore, if one thinks in a very positive way, which things can I keep that I'm using in Krishna's service, and which things can I winnow out so that I'm not burdened by them? This is one of the ways in which one opens the possibility that one could be fixed in chanting Hare Krishna and have the experience of direct connection with Krishna through chanting the holy name. The experience, again, is always available, but it's because of the disruptors. And I just gave an example of one, but the other ones are worth going into and looking at very carefully and considering what ways do they apply to the way I'm living or thinking, what is my attitude, and so forth. Today we have a slightly expedited schedule, and it includes greeting of the deities at 7:15. Then what? Then Guru Puja. Guru Puja right after that. Then we'll go straight to Srimad Bhagavatam class, and we'll be finished with everything at which ends at 9:14 and 59 seconds. And then for those who are going on the excursion today, we're going to take the Sankirtan party down to Carmel Valley, to Bhakti Farms, to visit the farm and see the cows and chant Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmana Shringadev. If you so desire, please allow us to avoid the disruptors of devotional service so we can chant your names with full absorption. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are